It's time for the quarterfinals of Euro 2024. And these are the remaining fixtures in what has been an incredible tournament so far. This will be a relatively quick fire video, so let me know if you agree in the comments or if you think I've got everything completely wrong. Starting off by briefly touching on the 8 round of 16 games that we had. Spain versus Georgia was a dominant display by Spain. We did have that one moment where we thought, oh my god, Georgia might actually do it. They scored on a counter after being dominated for like 20 minutes, but then Spain proceeded to dominate for the rest of the game and went through. Germany, they were just better than Denmark. Denmark weren't very impressive, really, in this tournament. They were a little bit lackluster. Germany, not reaching the heights of their first game yet, but they were still good. Portugal fluked their way through against Slovenia after Ronaldo dropped a disaster class with his awful missed efforts, his ridiculously bad free kicks, and his save penalty after a monster stop by Jan Oblak. Going through on penalties was not how most people saw that game going, including myself, but they did still make it through. There's time to sort of make up for that last performance. France v Belgium was pretty much as I called it. Two teams that have been lackluster, disappointing in this tournament. France still not scoring from open play as they go through via an own goal again, this time from Jan Vertonghen. They did dominate the game, however, they basically could not hit the target, could they? They had all the chances. They had like 20 shots to Belgium's 4, but they both only had 2 on target, and Belgium's were arguably significantly better chances on target than France's. 2 good saves by Magnan, whereas the 2 France ones on target, one was a P-roller from Griezmann, and the other one was a deflected shot from Tchouameni. Netherlands made it through against Romania in a game where the scoreline sort of represented the game, but it didn't represent the finishing. Similar to Portugal and France, Netherlands were all over it, dominated this game, but they only won 3-0. They should have scored 6 or 7 in this game with the chances they had. They just couldn't finish. One of the upsets of this round, Austria went out to Turkey. Everybody's dark horses from a few years ago. They didn't turn up then, but they have turned up now. Austria, who have been one of the best teams in the tournament so far, get knocked out by Erda Güler and Demiral, the centre-back, scoring 2 goals, but mainly because of that one incredible last-minute save with Austria's big last chance of the game. We fluked our way through against Slovakia with a 95th minute equaliser, overhead kick from Jude Bellingham, and then Harry Kane scoring very early on in extra time, and we did manage to hang on. We ended up playing 5-4-1 against Slovakia in extra time to try and hold on to it. Ridiculous, but apparently that's how we're potentially going to be lining up in the next game. It might be something similar to that, maybe a 5-2-2-1. We'll see how that goes. And then I did call this upset. I did say that Switzerland would knock out Italy because Italy just don't have enough going forward. They're defending. Italian football is known for being great defensively, right? You hold on to a lead and you take that to the end of the game. This crop of Italian players don't quite have it just yet. There are some very good players in there. For example, Calafiori, who may potentially be going to Arsenal for about 50 mil, which will be really intriguing to see if he's going to be starting over Gabriel. We'll have to wait and see. But going forward, they don't have anything, and so it's hard for them to get the lead to then sit back on it. And Switzerland have just been pretty impressive. So the quarterfinals are absolutely huge. On Friday, we've got Spain versus Germany in a crazy game. And then Portugal are up against France. We have Netherlands versus Turkey. And then us against Switzerland. So let's go through each one of these. Spain against Germany is a monstrous game here. And these two on this picture right here are one of the reasons why this is the case. Musiala balling out, my star boy, and then Nico Williams has been fantastic. At the start of the tournament, if this fixture had come up, would have comfortably said Germany will win this one. They're at home, they are the better squad, it's a tournament too early for Spain. But now, I simply cannot stick with that. Spain are the best team in this tournament. It's as simple as that. You could say that other teams have, or other squads have a better starting 11. Maybe they're even, like Georgia and Austria could have been the most entertaining teams. Spain are the best. And so if they do not go through in this game, I would be shocked. I'm going to go for Spain 2, Germany 1. And I think whoever wins this game probably goes on to win the entire thing. Next is Portugal v France, the teams that just couldn't finish their dinner throughout the entirety of the last game. So, tricky one. No wonder they've gone with 2 defenders on the photos rather than the guys that have just been failing in front of goal. This is really hard to call because if one of them actually figures out how to shoot on target instead of blazing it over the crossbar, then they're going to win. Because they'll both be creating chances, but it's whether they can actually be clinical with them. I feel like Portugal in the tournament so far have been a little bit more impressive than France. But do I think that that's enough for me to take them through to the next round? I mean, France relied on an own goal against Belgium. Portugal relied on penalties against Slovenia. So, by that logic, and just thinking if both teams are playing at their best, France are the better squad, there's not really that much to go on this tournament because they've both been underwhelming. So, I'll go with France to win this one, and I will go for them to win it 1-0. The Netherlands are up against Turkey, who have basically overperformed in order to get this stage of the tournament. Netherlands were always expected to do okay. The Frankie de Jong injury was potentially going to be a disaster for them, but even though their midfield hasn't been as strong as it would have been with them in the team, they've still made it through to the quarterfinals. Again, a bit like both Portugal and France, if Netherlands could be a bit more clinical with their chances, I don't see a world where they don't win this game. But if they perform like they have done in a couple of the matches, where they're having all the opportunities, but failing to convert them, you could get caught out by Turkey just like Austria did. Austria obviously beat Netherlands in the group, so I know it's not the way football works, but if you beat the team that's beat this one, that bodes well. I do, however, think that the Netherlands, especially with the level that Cody Gakpo has been playing at this tournament, are going to prove a little bit too much for Turkey here, and I think that this is going to be, sadly, a boring set of predictions because I'm not going to go for an underdog story here, and I am going to go for Netherlands to go through, and they are going to win this game 2-0. And then the one we are all scared about, it is England against the Swiss, who have performed well in this tournament. I do think that they have been slightly overhyped. That's not to say that they won't perform well against us, but I feel like the opponents that they've actually got their points against and stuff like that haven't actually been the best. Italy were poor as well. I think a lot of the teams that made it through to the round of 16 would have beaten Italy. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be a walkover. I'm not saying that we are miles and away better than the Swiss, because based on our performances so far in this tournament, they should probably beat us. They have been a better team than us. Whilst we've got the job done, you're not allowed to be negative about this team. It's not been good enough, has it? There are so many news articles and journalists talking about the fact we might be changing to a 5-back with potentially Trent and Saka as our wing-backs. I think that would work a lot better than what we currently have going on. Our current system, tactics, formation, doesn't work. And if we did go to this 5-2-2-1, it could potentially mean that you have those guys as wing-backs, then you have like Rice and Mainu in midfield, and then if you're utilising the wing-backs as the width bombing up and down the pitch, then you could have Foden as like a left 10. No, Bellingham as the left 10 and Foden as the right 10, so they can both cut in and score worldies. It might be the solution to our problem. So we gotta back the boys and say it's coming home. Southgate is the one. We're going to go through, but it's going to be an absolutely nail-biting 1-0 victory for England. So let me know. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you think I'm a football genius? Probably not. Most people don't. If you enjoyed this one, though, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Loads more content coming in the near future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.